Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Felt a great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, bark like a dog for me.
Where's the goodies?
Leave the gun. Technique can only.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again. This is Hal Linden inviting you to enjoy Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Alan Alda, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Walter Koenig, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Mito Hamada from Counterpart. I play Cyrus, and you're listening to Everything Old Again is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Welcome to Everything Old is New Again. This is Douglas Viviani with the gamester himself, David Cohen.
Yes.
Why are you the gamester this week?
Well, because this is going to be an interesting format for us this week. We have officially run out of ideas, and what we're going to do today is, I don't know, it's a potpourri of pranks and games and things like kind of speaking off the top of our head stuff.
Exactly, and it's all going to be related to pop culture. We're going to play a TV Rorschach game this section.
Yes.
And what that means is we are going to go through the alphabet as best we can from A to Z or however far we get to go here in the time we have. And if we skip a letter, we skip a letter. And the first show that comes to mind, we're going to talk about for a few minutes, however long it takes, and we exhaust that topic, go on to the next TV show of all time.
Right.
Whatever
Any
comes
TV.
to mind.
Yep.
So if you say the letter X.
X-Files.
There you go.
That
all
sort
right?
of thing. And then we talk for about, 5 hours about X-Files? No, I'm kidding. But we'll say something briefly about it, and then it'll be your turn, and so on and so forth.
All right, so who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
All right,
A.
so are we starting with A?
Yes.
Alcatraz, that was
No,
not a TV
no.
show. All right, let's move on to B.
How about All in the
can't think.
Family?
Very good.
I would say
good.
that All in the Family, I don't know how it doesn't come to life, but does it not translate to today's world? You see it on,
I've seen reruns lately.
It does. Does it really?
Oh my God, they could never do that show today.
Correct.
Are you kidding me? The stuff that he says, the subject matter,
Yes.
and my God, I can't believe it was on the. I'm going to go on a rant here. I cannot believe the show was on the air when it was on the air. I mean, that what happened?
Yeah.
Did everybody just fall asleep and somehow this thing made it onto the network? Listen, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. Don't get me wrong. That's not my point. My point is that. The words that they use and the subject matter in today's politically aware climate, for lack of a better phrase, this show would never, no one would dare.
But shouldn't it? I would argue we've done this about comedy a number of times. It should be able to be had in some ways, maybe modified a little bit with some of the words, but we shouldn't be afraid of these ideas that we don't like.
I agree.
You know? And that's what the show was, because it had both sides.
Yes, it did.
And
it
you could
did.
relate to one or the other, even change on the different issues. You would relate to one or the other characters.
It should be on, but you know what? It should be on, but unfortunately in today's environment, it would be probably more divisive than something that brings people together.
But I think that's what lent. I think because it was just as adversarial back then with Nixon. In the climate we were in there, and it let people laugh, and you were able to understand the other person with a smile on your face, and it wasn't so adversarial. I don't know if it helped, or I mean, it couldn't hurt. It couldn't have hurt the situation. I think putting a smile on everything and making everyone human makes it better.
And I think it might work. I think it might work.
All right, so I did the A. Now you're on to B.
Wow, that was a good one, though.
All right.
B, Blackball, not
How
a
about
show.
Babylon 5?
I never saw it, but okay.
That was Walter Koenig's favorite show. We've had him on the show here. He appeared as Bester on that show a few times. Also,
it's a sci-fi thing,
Yep.
right?
Also, Billy Mooney was on it. We've been trying to get him on our show for a long time, and we've had some communication. Maybe we'll get him on the show one day.
He was also he had a band. You know that?
That's why we're trying to get him on the show to promote that band and his albums.
You ever see Google Bill Mooney Fish Head? It's a great song, and it's about fish heads. It's a video. There's a video,
yes,
and it's all about what fish heads can't do in real life.
Yes.
Like they can't play baseball. It's really funny.
I wouldn't call it a great song, but yes, it does exist.
I think it's a great song. All right, let's move on to C.
Fish Heads, Led Zeppelin's, Stairway to Heaven, and all the different,
Yeah, I put it right up there. All right, so we're up to C. You go.
Wait, I just did the last two. C.
Because I'm terrible with it. C. Crime Stoppers. I'm saying the first thing that comes to my head. That was a show?
Okay, so
Isn't it?
It is a show. So what do you say about it?
What is it? It's that guy, right? Some guy who actually his son was it the same guy whose son was abducted, and he started the Crime Stopper show.
Yes,
where they would show actual crimes being committed. Well, not actual crimes being committed, but they would talk about crimes. People can call in if they have tips on who committed the crimes. Wasn't that Crime Stoppers?
Yeah. Well, I think it was something else actually, but we'll go with Crime Stoppers. It wasn't called Crime Stoppers.
It's a good idea.
All right, so let's see.
All right, now you do D because I'm failing miserably.
Only thing I can think of with D is like Dogwood, and I don't even know if that's a show.
Dogwood sounds like a show. I think it is.
Yeah,
I think it might have been on HBO.
It might have been.
I think
it's
Dogwood. Showtime.
So we can't talk much about it. So how about E? Anything with E?
Everything. No. Can I say St. Elsewhere?
Yes. I'll take that. St. Elsewhere. I'll take
St. Elsewhere. The first, I have to say, and to me, the best ever medical show on TV in TV history.
Okay.
No matter what came after it, ER, Chicago, whatever, hospital, whatever they call it. But
now, Washington was in that.
There were some great people.
Howie Mandel was in
Howie
that.
Mandel,
yes.
right?
Yep.
George Clooney.
Oh, that's right.
These people started.
No, George Clooney wasn't in St. Elsewhere. He was in the other one.
Oh, he was on ER.
No.
Whoops,
Yeah.
I'm getting my medical.
Yeah. David Cohen, not doing too well. How about F? I have F.
Go ahead.
Fringe.
Oh, I've never seen it. You tell me about it, but I've never seen it. What is it about?
It was almost a little bit analogous to Kolchak the Night Stalker, where they investigate these oddities that are happening in the world, and it eventually develops into the fact that there is an alternate universe, just like that show you like, Counterpart.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is a C. And you could have said.
Oh,
and,
man.
But it really was a real good show, touched upon father and son relationships, and it was really a very good show.
Fringe.
You would enjoy
Okay.
Fringe.
Great.
So now you're on to G.
I'm so much pressure on me. I can't. G.
Come on, it's on HBO.
Oh no. What about
How about Game of Thrones?
Yeah, yes. Good one. Good, thanks for saving me.
There you go. Say something about it.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. All I can say when I tell people about Game of Thrones, and for people who don't watch the show and don't know anything about it, and they're like, "What's a Game of? Everyone's talking about Game of Thrones. I don't get it." Well, you know what? It's a fantasy, right? Show about swords and dragons, and I hate those shows. I've hated them all my life. Anything that starts with fantasy, the realm, and the witch, and the swords, I'm like, no! God, I hate that! I have to say, though, Game of Thrones, one of my favorite shows ever. Because they got dragons, they got all that stuff I've always hated. Game of Thrones, though, is much more... it's well written. It's character driven. It's that's the fantasy stuff is just. It's not about that. It comes into play, but it's really not about it, and that's what's appealing.
Right. And another show that's just like that. Get Smart. G. The complete antithesis.
Of course, you think of Game of Thrones. Of course, you think of Get Smart,
which
comedy
which
from the
cannot
60s.
be any. Everyone's familiar with Don Adams and Agent 99, who were trying to get on the show as well.
Also a great show.
And that's
Barbara Feldon. You better hurry up.
Yeah,
with
she
her.
would be nice to not getting this
awesome.
response.
Yeah.
So, okay, how about that was G, right?
That was G.
H.
H should be a Home Improvement. Oh God,
How
I
about
hate that
Happy
show.
Days?
Yes, much better.
So tell us a little something about Happy Days.
Happy Days, a show made in the 70s, set in the 50s, in the greaser age. Rock and roll and Fonzie. And
now, what about Fonzie? He was one of the first icons of a TV show that just they created or the character was created, and the actor really ran with it in such a way that it became with the catchphrase and everything else. I mean, 70s was the time for the catchphrase.
How about Henry Winkler just winning that Emmy recently for his role?
He was so hopped up.
He was rolling a recent show, and what did he say in his speech? He pulled out the same speech he used.
Yeah, for 30 years ago. Now, because I don't think he won in the Fonzie days.
No, he didn't.
Had prepared 30 years ago.
He had prepared it. That was it, right? And he's reading it now. It's so funny.
Best people. He has the best people on the planet. When they deny us access to him over and over again, they're the nicest.
Oh, Henry
denials.
Winkler.
Yeah, they're the nicest denials we've ever gotten.
Have you tried like Ron Howard? I'm thinking.
I've tried them all. I've tried them all. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Even Donnie Most. Potsy?
I haven't tried Donnie Most. I've tried Potsy. He said yes, but then we couldn't line up the dates. How about famous comedy of all time? ABCDEFGHI.
Oh, we're up to the letter I.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Most famous comedy of all time?
Well, we're done. I Love Lucy. We're going to play the song on the way out. Have a good night. And we'll come back right after this and look at the top 5 sci-fi TV shows of all time. Right after this, and everything old is new again.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Holy great interview! Hi, this is Burt Ward, Robin from TV's Batman. You're listening to Douglas Viviani and David Cohen's fabulous radio show, Everything's Old is New Again. To the Batmobile, citizens.
This is Jim Leyritz, former two-time World Series champion New York Yankee, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
We are back, and everything old is new again right here, right now, with little potpourri.
Yes, every segment of this show is dedicated to a different little fun little game we're doing.
Yes, and these games you can do, what do they call them? Parlor games.
Parlor games, I guess, yeah, parlor games.
You
sure.
remember watching the old Dick Van Dyke Show? They used to have they would get together and they would play the games.
Right.
No one does that anymore. That's actually pretty cool to do.
Yeah, like party games, right? Yeah, because now you have to have like a board game, right? It's got to be big. You can't just get up there and just create your own game. Of course you can, and we're giving you the idea.
Exactly. So the first one was the TV Rorschach. You got to go by letter.
By letter, first TV show list. Name that comes into your head.
And if you can't get it, then you lose. You do get it, you get a chance to talk about the show. That's what makes it fun. Is maybe at a parlor game you would give each other 2 minutes to talk about the show. Or
that's
something.
True. Yeah, that's good.
Maybe 2 minutes to come up with maybe one of the episodes.
Or you take sides, like why you like it, why you don't.
Yes.
That sort of thing. Okay, so we're enhancing your lives already.
Now. Top 5 TV shows? No, top 5 sci-fi shows. TV shows of all time.
Okay.
You know mine. It's so easy, so simple. I'm going to say Star Trek.
Of course.
And then the next one's going to be Star Trek Next Generation.
Really?
And then it's going to be Voyager. And then
come on now.
And it's going to be
not...
Enterprise. And now it's going to be Discovery after that. All right, so that's easy.
No, because
Let's go beyond that.
But in all seriousness, I mean, maybe you could put 2 of them up.
No, I would only put 1. I would put the original show, and that's it.
Good. I just wanted you to be fair and impartial.
To me, some people say Next Generation is better. If I watch Next Generation, it does not. I'm sorry, it doesn't hold up. For some reason, a lot of the themes and a lot of the episodes are not relevant to this day, or I don't know what it is. It just doesn't carry the day anymore.
All it did for me was make me want the original cast. So
all right. So, but the original is certainly maybe the best.
I think it's
not.
Yeah, I'd put it up there. All right, my turn.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go a little current, even though it's not my necessarily first choice of
right.
But I'm going a little current with this one. Counterpart, which we've talked about, had its first season on Stars, and we've had a couple of actual actors from the series on the show already.
Sure have. Sarah Serioko.
Yes, and highly recommend the show. It's different. It's a topic I've never seen before, which is rare in sci-fi these days. And I again, you still have not seen it, right?
No, because I have seen.
I'm not a subscriber to Stars. I don't want to pay.
Oh no, I was a subscriber. I watched Black Sails. I love Stars.
Yeah.
What I don't love is a repeat of Fringe. Hello.
What?
This show.
Wait,
to
no.
me,
Wait, hold on. You're
I'm
changing
telling
the
you,
subject.
no,
but I want to know why you didn't watch Counterpart.
Because it's a reappeat of Fringe. Fringe started out
I didn't get
as a
that.
show where it was like a Coal Shack the Night Stalker, if you will, or just little vignette. Every episode was a different episode of something odd happening and what's going on and how he solved this mystery. And it was sci-fi kind of stuff. And a really cool interaction with the characters and a father and a son and other characters. It was really an FBI agent. It was sort of like a Mulder, sort of not believing what's going on, and it morphed later on. I think through season 3 or 4, where there was a parallel universe, and the characters were going back and forth between the parallel universe and alternate situations and alternate ways that they were living. And the Statue of Liberty didn't exist in one, and another one did, and different other things. So it had that idea that Counterpart already has.
So because of that, you're not going to watch Counterpart?
No, I just said that to get into Fringe. That was my segue. So that Fringe to me is the second one. I will watch Counterpart at some point. I'll Fringe. I'll now it's not one of these things you have to watch when it comes out. I'm going to watch it when I get 2 seasons. I'm definitely going to. There's no doubt I'm interested. I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch like seasons like 10 episodes long now. So you're into it for 10 hours, and now you got to wait 3 years for the next one to come out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I'm going to wait till it builds up some episodes and then get into it.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's coming back soon.
What do they call that now? When you watch all of them in a row?
Binge watch.
I'm going to binge it.
Okay.
All right.
All right, my turn.
So Fringe and Star Trek for me. You have Counterpart, which I want to see. What else?
I would have to say I'm going to go with another old standard, X-Files.
Okay.
Man, that was when that first came on TV, man, that was appointment television.
Yes.
You did not miss the X-Files episodes. They were all good. It was sort of a procedural thing, but there were running themes throughout the shows. So you can watch any particular episode. You didn't have to have any prior knowledge. But what was cool about it was that the subject matter was new, it was unique each time. And there were recurring themes that kind of like threads that ran through the series that was also kind of interesting and kept you watching.
And if you are lacking or missing X-Files and or discussion of UFO, go to everythingoldisnewagain.biz. We have the good old Dr. John Viviani on probably 10 times talking about UFOs, and we'll continue again. We get a good reaction to those shows. So you go in terms of sci-fi.
We do, yeah.
I would say another one for me is a very, very underrated show, and you're going to say, what show is this? Farscape.
Interesting. I'm writing these down because I'm going to watch it.
It's a great one. It was by the
Farscape?
Hansen, the Muppet.
Jim Henson?
Jim Henson's son got involved with that, and there were others. And it was a fantastic show about a shuttle pilot from Earth, goes up into the shuttle, hits a black hole, goes into another universe, is now trying to get his way back. He runs across a living spaceship that have these outcasts. They escaped from a penal colony.
No, I can't say it. Colony.
Penal colony. I'll clip that out. And they then interact with each other. They become friendly and friends and a team up against a very interesting villain, and it throws out all convention. Everything is out the window. It is weird and odd, but if you stick with it, it's a really cool message and a really cool show that I think was a lot of fun, and it was on Sci-Fi Channel, so it was budget wise. It went off after about 4 years. It was really good. Ben Browder is the star.
Excellent. I'll check it out. All right, next for me. I'm struggling with this because certain shows are the best I've seen and certain are not. But I'm going to go with a show that's currently on, Black Mirror, which I think you're aware of. It's sort of, a lot of people compare it to it's a present day Twilight Zone. So Black Mirror, again, every show is different. You don't have to follow along. You could just plug and play any one of them.
Okay.
It is kind of Twilight Zone-ish in that way. But some of the subject matter is really interesting, and again, fresh stuff you may not have seen before.
So each show is an anthology, or the same characters?
No, different cast, different story.
Oh, wow.
Just like Twilight Zone.
All right. What's it called?
It's called Black Mirror.
Where are they getting that from?
Because it has to do with technology. So it's, in other words, it's your phone. When it's black,
right.
It's a black mirror. So it's about society today. That a lot of the themes have to do with that.
All right, I like that one. All right, I'm going to go with another one, a throwback now. The star of Enterprise, before he was on Enterprise, Scott Bakula in Quantum Leap.
Oh, good one, yes.
Which, if you haven't seen, it does hold up.
I think
some
so.
of them are dated, but it does hold up. What he does is he is a character that invented or tried to invent time travel. In so doing, his essence, his soul, I guess you would say, is put in there's a divine intervention into this time travel. There's a mistake that goes on, and he is now for each episode, he goes from soul to soul, a different person every episode, trying to correct what's in that person's life that went wrong. And what is wrong is another question, but went wrong to correct and help that person's life. And once he corrects that, he then leaps to the next person, always thinking that the next leap is the leap back into his own body, back where he lives. But it never happens. And it's he's got one fella, Dean Stockton, is there, and he's able to project himself to communicate with Scott Bakula. It is a fantastic show, and it goes through all different time periods, from the 1900s to present, even 1800s.
Right, so there's a lot of time travel. And it was on for several seasons, so there's a lot of shows.
At least 7 or 8 seasons, yeah. It was really good and very poignant, and it really was, and it's good. They talk about social issues and love and whatever, all different topics through different eyes of different people, so it was very different. And again, the only characters that were the same were the two I mentioned. Everybody else, every episode was different, so it was exciting.
That's cool.
So there's mine.
All right.
I have one more. What do you have?
I have one more, too.
Go ahead.
I'm going to throw one out there. You may or may not agree with it, but I really like Westworld. I think it's, it's a little hard to follow. It is definitely a little hard to follow, but if you put the time in and really follow it, it's really very deep, very interesting. I like the concept, and I look forward to it whenever it's on.
They have on YouTube and on the podcast these people that talk about the show and try to explain it to you. So if you do that,
helpful.
It works.
It's helpful.
If you don't want to do that, look at The Twilight Zone, which is obvious. That's got to be number 2. The episodes of Twilight Zone are over the top. The different messages, the fun. Sometimes it's just funny. Sometimes it's very serious. Sometimes it's time travel. They do everything. It was one of the first. Obviously, it's pretty obvious selection. I don't think anybody would say, "Oh, gee, I don't know about that." That's really, really a great.
But
show.
I'd also recommend if you Google like the best Twilight Zone episodes, I would start with that because there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of them are a little dated. Some of them deal with themes that at this point, 50 years, 60 years later are just kind of just retread so often it's not going to look fresh to you. So I think if you take the time, Google the top 10 or 20, you're gonna really enjoy it.
Start with the one that is entitled "To Serve Man."
Yes, that was a good one.
Don't even give it up. That's that. As an ancillary one, is The Walking Dead sci-fi?
I would say it is.
So it's got to be in this list.
No. I don't think so.
It's got to be.
I don't think so.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
It took a bad turn for me. That's why I was a huge fan.
You didn't like that bat. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. You didn't like the guy with the bat and what he did.
In fact, I hated it so much I stopped watching the show.
All right, I understand that. I believe that I will be stopping watching the show at the end of this season. I'm not going to give it away, but what's happening this year?
I think I know why. Yeah, I heard.
I'm done with I just don't like the thing. I don't like is that I understand characters developing and even leaving the show for whatever reason, but I don't want every single character to leave the show from beginning to end. I mean, it's too much with the turnover, so it makes you upset. We'll be back on Everything Old is New again. A little more potpourri, having a drink with someone from history.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
right, this. Everything Old is New again.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is screenwriter and author Carl Gottlieb, enjoying being on the air with Douglas Viviani and David S. Cohen on Everything Old is New Again.
Welcome back to Everything Old is New Again. We're inventing parlor games, if you will, for you to play if you have a parlor and if you have friends over, if that ever happens. Or you can play it on Skype, I guess, or FaceTime with
you
Saturday afternoon.
You could play it over. You could just text this game back and forth.
But it's no good. You know what it is? You can't have access to the computer because it sort of ruins it. You need it off the top of your head. The next one is if you were to have a beer at a bar with anyone in history, entertainment, politics, anything.
3 people.
3 people. Who would it be?
Who would those 3 people be?
Wait.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Say it.
We're going to modify that. Now, at home, put it this way. Right off the bat, I would want to do Neil Armstrong, Abe Lincoln, Jesus Christ, George Washington in that range, right? But we're going to do something different. Those are just mine. I'm sure there's tons of others for everybody else. I would suggest, and this is David's suggestion, so why don't you tell us what it's going to be?
Yeah, so you go with the person you most want to have the beer with, and you take the first name of that person, and the next two on your list have to share that same first name.
Yeah, so that's
right?
good.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off. This is going to be odd to you. Who do you think it's going to be? A comic book guy?
Comic book guy? You mean a character?
No, Stan Lee.
Oh, good one.
I'd love to, and we've been trying to have him on the show, but he's really older gentleman and may not be able to do. Anyway, so Stanley, I would love to have a beer with and talk to him about all these characters and where he came up with how did he get them, and how did he become so positive in his life, his whole life. He's signing everything Excelsior with an exclamation point, and he's so positive. I've seen him so many times in conventions and things. He's such a positive guy.
He came out. I was with my son. We went to a comic book convention, and he was maybe 10 at the time. And we were waiting on this enormous line. It's in New York City. And we're waiting on the line, and guess who comes out? And there's a roar that goes up in the crowd. Stan Lee comes out to the line where people are standing. And what Stan is doing is he's running through the crowd, high-fiving people and shaking people's hands, right? So he goes up to my son.
Let me just interrupt. He's probably in his 80s at this point.
Yes. Oh, yeah. This was 8 years ago,
yeah,
right?
So he's 90. He's 99 now.
Wow.
I think.
So this 90-year-old guy is literally jogging and shaking hands and high-fiving. And he went right up to my son and shook my son's hand, and my son was like, I can't believe Stanley, I can't believe it. So that was so cool.
He was the greatest guy. I saw him in Oakland at a convention when I was in 1988, I believe it was. And we had a companion, a little nice young lady with me at the time, and we went up and spoke to him, and he was not distracted by anything. He was talking to me, looking at me in the eyes. I had a conversation with him. He signed the book. He Excelsior and Stan Lee, and wished me all the best, and it was so engaging. It wasn't just an autograph. I've had hundreds of autographs in my life. It's just something I do at these conventions. This guy was totally different. He took the time, and it was a big line and whatever. He wanted to hear from you. He wanted to know what you were all about. Significantly, sincerely. There's a long line because of it, but that's the guy. Still. So do we do my Stan?
Yeah, go with the S's. Yes.
All right. So Stan Lee. Then I'm going to go to baseball. I go Stan Musial.
Nice.
I would love to hear and talk to. And these aren't now my top 3 of all time, but in the S's,
okay. Yeah.
Stan Musial, I'd love to talk to. He was a phenom. He's a great hitter. I love baseball. He played in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. He played against so many people. He was an icon in his day.
Now, he was known as Stan the Man.
Yes.
Right? The original Stan the Man.
Correct.
Yep.
Great hitter, 300-plus hitter for lifetime, Hall of Famer. He played against DiMaggio and Williams, and he played against Willie Mays and all these players.
So what would be 1 or 2 questions you would ask?
Well, first of all, how did he learn to hit like that? Can he teach my son to hit like that? That would be the first thing. And if not, did he really love the game, or did he love hitting? No, get what I'm saying? Like, did he enjoy playing the game? Or like Ted Williams seemed to me to be a guy, he just liked hitting. He could care in some ways.
To him, yeah.
He didn't care about fielding the ball. He didn't care about winning or losing as much as hitting. DiMaggio cared about, I think, himself, of course. He was an ego guy. But on the level of, I want my team to win so I look good. That makes sense. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, my questions would be in those vein.
Cool. All right.
And finally, Stan Laurel. From Laurel
Stan
and Hardy.
Laurel, wow,
yes.
Good one.
I'd love to talk to him about how he developed that character, his relationship with Hardy, how they became and stayed friends all that time.
Did they really?
Yeah,
they were
they
friends?
never had. There's a movie coming out that shows that they had some controversy. Total BS. They never did not get along. They were a great team together. He was very serious in his work. He was one of these like a Jerry Lewis type, if you know Jerry Lewis behind the scene. Very serious about the comedy. Some comedians are just fun, and they're hanging out. Everything that Stan Laurel did was planned out on purpose, no doubt about it. The business with the fingers in the hair and all that, planned out. Exactly. All that was planned out meticulously.
These guys were British, right, if I remember?
No, Americans. Totally.
He spoke with like an affected British accent.
Well, they did go over to England, and maybe he had that a little bit. No, he was totally. And there are some interviews on YouTube you can hear of him. But I would love to pick his mind because he comic genius in my world.
Yeah, and it was so long ago, but still, you can catch them on old videos,
and a lot of it still holds up because it's slapstick and stuff.
Right.
Some of it,
Absolutely.
So all right, so those are my three. Now you got
all right. So I started with a standard. Someone I would would be my first choice no matter what.
Right.
Abe Lincoln.
Okay.
All right. I mean, I don't have to talk about why I want to. I mean, it's obvious, but
But what would you ask him if you had one question?
I would ask him what he did at night to get to sleep. How did he get to sleep at night?
Right.
Because what he was going through with the Civil War, the decisions that he made on behalf of the good of the country, and knowing the ramifications of those decisions, how do you live with yourself? Not that it's right or wrong. I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I think everything he did was right, and it's not about being right or wrong. But at the time, how did he know? How was he able to bear it all? Is really what my question.
He did make mistakes with his generals, and he had the wrong generals for a long time.
So again, exactly. So all of these trials and tribulations he went through.
He never gave up, I think is what you're trying to say. How do you do this and not give up?
Right.
And we could, politicians today, we could talk about a lot of people, when you do anything in life that you're doing and other people don't agree with, how do you know, or do you know, that this is the right, I don't care what they say, I got to do this.
I mean,
it's amazing.
You have to be so reliant on your own convictions, right? And it's not like, you made an unpopular decision, you didn't vote for a bridge that was being built in your town. This was life and death of the country, and probably of the world, I think, to a large extent.
Yep.
So, wow, yeah. So that would. So I started
sorry about
with,
that, but he's so interesting. He was on my list.
You can go on forever,
yeah.
right? And his personal life, and he lost a child, and there was just so much stuff going on. He was also a very spiritual person.
Yes.
Anyway, on and on. The whole Gettysburg Address I could spend 3 hours on with him. All right, so I had to go with Abe's, right? The second Abe Vigoda.
Okay, let's hear it.
Abe Vigoda, the Fish on Barney Miller. He was, of course, the iconic
Godfather. He was in The Godfather.
In The Godfather, I can't remember. Tessio on Godfather. I would definitely have a beer with him because I think he was not only a great actor, but he was someone also that just looked like a really great guy to hang out with, right? He's funny. He seemed incredibly intelligent, very sarcastic, great actor. I want to know all about The Godfather. Tell me all the stories, how everyone was like, what was what was it like on the set?
Right.
Just everything. And Barney Miller, which I thought was a very underrated sitcom from the 70s. Right. And Abe Vigoda's Fish, he even got his own spin-off sitcom on that.
All right.
So we're running.
I just
out of time.
wanted to for a moment. We have 2 minutes.
Okay.
If you want to read a book about Abraham Lincoln, that is one of the best books ever written. It's just April 1865 by Jay Winnick. It just talks about that 1 month where the Civil War ended and all the things that happened, including, I believe, the assassination of Lincoln. So, anyway.
I asked him about what it's like to be assassinated. I forgot that. Okay. All right. My last Abe is Abraham from the Bible. Right?
Okay.
Why not? Hey, you got a guy from the Bible. Come on. How could you? You can't pass up a beer with someone from the Bible.
That's right. I agree.
Where do you begin? Where do you begin?
So Abraham is a real good one because you could also talk about living during that time.
Yeah, what was life like?
Stones. Exactly. He lived around. Think about living. He was 4,000 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Think about what he lived and to be able to rise above sand in your underwear, so to speak. You know what I mean? And do what he did is amazing, amazing stuff. So those are some great choices.
Would he drink beer? Did they have beer back then? He might not even know what it is.
Would he drink mead? I don't know what the heck they have. Maybe wine? I guess wine.
You'd have to have a wine with him, I think.
Yeah,
that's it.
Glass of wine. I think those are great selections. It's a great fun game. Again, you don't have to rush through it when you are not on the time limit like we are at a parlor game. That would be really a cool...
I think it would too.
And actually, I didn't like your take on having to use the same name, but now that I think about it, you can do it.
You can do it, and also I think it makes it a little more fun. It also narrows your choices because if it's 3 people spanning the entire world and history, it's hard to come up with 3 people like that. But if you're giving guidelines, I think it's helpful.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And I guess for that one, you could pull the internet out if you want to help you.
That's true.
Just to come up because you have to explain it. And do what we did. Why would you do that, and so forth. All right, we'll be back one more time, and we're going to talk about what if you had an opportunity to have one band in your backyard perform for, let's say, a party. or an hour.
Or just for you. Either way.
All right. We'll be back right after this, and everything old is new again.
This is Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
There we go. We're back on Everything Old is New Again, and we're going to dive into one further parlor game, if you will, that you can play. And maybe this will catch on. This is an old thing that maybe will be new again because of us, or maybe we'll give it a little bit of push. Think of the old Dick Van Dyke
copyright
show.
Some of this stuff.
You're right. Well, you're right. We could come up with a board game for the game that's not a board game. Mm-hmm. In other words, we put a box and it just has the instructions in there.
Yeah, and
that's
right,
it.
exactly.
There's no board. The board game without a board.
I think you may be onto something.
There we go. All right. So, if you had the opportunity to have of any band of all time perform either for you or for your friends, whatever, let's call it in the backyard, right? In your backyard, or where would you do it?
In a basement, in your living room, right, however it works.
Who would it be? Of course, you're going to mention...
Well, I'm going to say the Beatles, but I think we decided, look, let's not go, because we're both Beatles fans, of course. It's too
and
easy.
I think it's pretty obvious for probably, and maybe not everybody, but for lots of people, that would be clear.
For lots of them,
right.
Yeah.
So who would you have instead of the
Especially
Beatles?
People our age.
Right.
I would say if it was not the Beatles, then it would be John Lennon. No?
How about Wings?
Wings.
I know. Let's
McCartney.
Keep the Beatles even individually out. How about the broken? What was that Ono band that he played? What was it?
The Plastic Ono.
Plastic
band.
Ono band. No.
Okay,
no
so
Beatles.
No Beatles.
Including the Beatles. Let's go from there.
All right. My first would be, and I would have to say David Bowie. That's one of them for me.
Now, is this in any particular order?
It's in no particular order. Only because I never saw him, and I wish I could have when he was alive. But he would definitely. It would be maybe top one or two on my list.
And is there a certain set list you would have for him because he's so different?
Yeah, I know. If it was up to me, I would tell him I want one song from every album he did, and maybe I'd throw in one or two more that were my favorites. As well.
All right, I like that. I'm going to pick one that's obvious to me. In the beginning, we've had Chris Difford on the show. I love Squeeze. I've seen them many times, but I'm presuming that having them play in your backyard, you're going to get to meet them as well.
Ah, yes.
So that's some of it. And they're my, if you want to say Beatles, in that I was able to see them from the beginning to the end, and it's not even over yet, of their career. I've lived through, and they're the soundtrack of many of the best days of my life.
I would say they're on my list, too, but I'm surprised you're saying them because you've seen them.
Yes.
And you've seen them several times.
Yes.
So why would is it because you'd be able to talk to them? Is that one?
That is part of it, for sure. And I'm talking about the original band or with Paul Carrack. Not
with Jules Holland?
Yeah, either Jules Holland or Paul Carrack. Probably the Jules Holland band. But either way.
Well, Carrack was only in for like an hour.
But he was in that great, he did Tempted, and he had some great songs on East Side Story.
True.
So,
yeah.
I just, the excitement of actually seeing them, singing just to me. But I'm going to extend that and say, let's think about this. In the neighborhood, do you love everybody in the neighborhood or not? I'm going to make sure I have the rights to have this band perform and not get shut down because they're so loud.
Oh, I think you have to assume that for this this show. Yes,
and specifically for this band, I would love to see AC/DC in the backyard.
Oh wow,
with Angus going crazy, banging back and forth,
choice.
and he's such a showman, and they are a lot of fun, but loud like crazy.
Yeah,
the neighbors would be like peering over the fence, trying to see what's going on.
See, it's funny because I always thought of this as like when we were talking about this off the air. I thought of it as something just personal for me.
Right.
Like no one else would be allowed to listen. It's because I guess it's more of a personality thing, right? You're more inviting. Hey, let's have people over. For me, it would be, hey, get out, man. This is just for me.
I'm not saying I would open the doors to them, but they can come and listen, and be jealous, if you will.
Okay.
I got them playing in the background.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
And you could hear that band from my backyard probably for, what would you say? Seriously, 4 or 5 miles, right? Maybe longer.
I think so.
Anyway, so that's
all right.
two
So
of mine.
I started with Bowie.
Right.
You went to Squeeze and then AC/DC.
Right.
I'm going to come back with Queen. With Freddie Mercury. I really wish I would have seen them as a band together because they were great live. Freddie Mercury was unbelievable. I'd pick the songs right? I would dictate.
Because there's some clinkers in there. Yeah,
I'd dictate the set list. There's some songs I'd want to hear, but that would be amazing for like an hour of just wow.
You would want to hear what? Tie Your Mother Down?
Tie Your Mother Down, right? A song I think is very underrated by them.
The News almost played that, but we couldn't get a guitarist to actually perform that.
To do it well, right. Let alone get someone to sing it. We hadn't gotten that far.
Think about that part of it.
And by the way, I'm looking forward to that movie that's coming out very soon.
That was going to be my next question. It looks pretty good.
Hopefully it's going to be great.
Did you see them at Live Aid? I mean, on TV.
No, I saw them on TV. I've only seen them on TV. So a chance to see that band perform live would be great.
All right.
So that would be my... Do I get... You
Take another, yes.
All right, so I would say after that, again, this is obvious. We didn't think about it. Elvis Presley.
Yeah, I have him on my list, too, yes.
All right. I mean, that's come on, man.
Beyond.
And that also would be the thing where it would be also an opportunity to talk with him because the questions would just be...
He was
boundless.
so shy. He might be like the worst interview, but yes, I would agree with you.
Yeah, he could have just been, if he didn't like you, he just wouldn't be really open about it.
But wouldn't it be great if he did like you? You know what I mean? Like,
that'd be awesome.
He might even buy you a Cadillac.
Oh, that'd be great. And also, let me just be clear: it had to be the young Elvis, not the fat Elvis at the end. And
I mentioned the Cadillac going. If you know the stories, he would buy Cadillacs for people wherever in his travels. If they were coming upon hard times and things, he all of a sudden he'd say, "Oh, you want this car? You got it."
So I get a Cadillac out of it.
Yeah,
too.
He was very magnanimous. He's maybe number one next to Frank Sinatra for me.
Ah, interesting.
Although I saw
thought we were talking about rock and roll.
Singers, no? I don't know. You can't of all time. You said of all time. This guy. I mean, I saw him in Atlantic City when he still had it, and it was one of those experiences where I'm sure Elvis is the same kind of a thing. You ever meet somebody that they have that aura, or even just be in a room or an amphitheater with somebody that has that aura, and you go, "Wow, this is something different."
Exactly. You can't explain it, right?
There's just something here. Maybe it's from the people. Maybe it's from the person,
I think it's from the person. It's an intangible, right? You can't. It's a great singer. It could be a great actor, but it's like beyond that. It's something else. It's just drawing your attention to that person.
Yeah, and puts a smile on your face, and immediately you have a kinship. The only other one I saw when I was in law school was Ronald Reagan came to St. John's Law School.
What did he do?
It was a small arena, and he just spoke to us.
Really?
And it was
he president at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
It was freaking electric. It was amazing.
Well,
like his politics or not, he was amazing. And he was even more magnanimous. I don't know what the word is, with this thing we're trying to talk about, than Sinatra. It was just so there. Anyway, I wonder what that thing is we're talking about, but he had it, and certainly Sinatra, when I saw him, had it. He had you in the palm of his hand. He could say anything, and you were going along with it.
Yeah, another time that happened to me, and this is off topic, but I just want to mention real quick. My wife and I saw a Broadway show many years ago. Matthew Broderick was in it. It was called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And the entire show, you couldn't take your eyes off Matthew Broderick. He was that good. I mean, he started out in theater. That was his thing. It was theater, musical theater. And he was the star of the show, and he didn't have the greatest voice. He wasn't the greatest dancer. And it was, I mean, we talked to people after the show. We're like, how'd you like it? Matthew Broderick was unbelievable.
See that?
There's just something, and you can't place it.
Some people just have this thing.
Back
Yeah,
on
we have a couple
topic.
minutes,
All right, so wait, I think I did two, so it's your turn now.
Okay, and
you
another
just
one.
Did one. No,
I
you
just did one, yes.
Okay. All right, so I'll say after that, I would say the original Beach Boys.
Interesting.
From 1965.
Nice.
With all the Wilson brothers still alive. The striped shirts. I want to see them perform. Because I think that was so much fun, and they were good, and they were young, and they had their voices, and they had the fun spirit, and I would love it.
Wow. My follow-up to that is going to pale by comparison to a band you probably... listening has probably never even heard of, but a great party band, and I'm talking about this for the backyard. This is not for history's sake and whatever. This is just for a party.
It's your preference.
Yeah, and NRBQ.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, that's fun.
With horns,
yeah,
and they're fun loving.
You know, I was going to say Earth, Wind, and Fire. That was my next.
Okay.
So same thing. Fun horns, very upbeat, right?
Yep, and just you're going to smile. You're going to that one. You're opening the gate. You're going to meet some neighbors. You're going to dance with your neighbor's wife or whatever, and just have fun.
What?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
what kind of party are you talking about there? Is this like a key? Is it a key party? Is that?
All I meant is that It's like that commercial, right? Whatever with the TV thing. What is
you could have stopped at dancing. You said dance with your neighbor's wife.
Well, I just meant that it's a community. We're all a community. We're all just having fun together.
I'd like to live in that community.
Come on to East Northport. We tape Everything Old is New Again. You'll see what it's like. It's probably a smile on the face. No, but that's that kind of band. It's a community, and everyone in your neighborhood, whether you like them or not, and had an argument with them because they had a barbecue that you weren't invited to or something or other. It's all gonna be thrown to the wayside. You have a beer. You're gonna listen to this band, and you're just gonna smile.
Cool.
So
all right. Do we have time for one or two more?
We have time for one more. Yes.
Oh, this is a tough one because I have two. But all right, I'll go with more current. There's a band called The Strokes. They've been around for a little while now. They haven't done anything good in a while, but I saw them with my wife. I would say about 15 years ago now. It's crazy. They played for 35 minutes, which ticked everybody off, right? But it was like, how do I describe the show? It was like this white hot ball of fire for 35 minutes. For 35 minutes, you were mesmerized. You were like blown away. The music was different. The energy was unbelievable. They were charismatic, and I would like to you just want to bottle that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I would want to see that again, that exact same show in my living room. That's how good it was.
Nice. All right. I think, I have, the Knack and the Cars, and there are certain secondary ones that I think would be fun also. Maybe we'll pick this up on another show.
What about Jimi Hendrix?
And no, it's too loud, and
Okay.
I would watch
it's
it
not
for
everybody.
It's not
for everybody.
I could enjoy it for 10 minutes, and I appreciate it, but I don't like any of his songs per se.
Okay.
I appreciate what he did and the revolutionary character that he was, but the music didn't do it for me.
Cool.
I would prefer the Monkees that opened for him. All right, we'll be back next week.
They did. That's true.
That's right. Yeah. Everything Old is New Again, to talk all things pop culture.